Hi, I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. Now, if you haven't already, go ahead and click the subscribe button below to get all sorts of good videos every day the market's open about financial news that might affect your portfolio. Things I might tell you that you might find interesting. Who knows? You could also click the notifications bell. You could also click a whole lot of other things down there. There's a whole bunch of hyperlinks and stuff. Just click a whole bunch of things. Who knows? The internet's it's like a rabbit hole of good information. Let's talk about semis. Semiconductors. Oh, I thought it was just about semis. This is about semiconductors. And actually, semiconductor equipment billings. Semiconductor equipment billings, you say? How interesting could that be? Well, when they're up 35% in the quarter year over year to 14.1 billion in sales, that's pretty interesting. Semiconductors are huge already. They're used in so many different products out there, so many different devices that you own and things on a large infrastructure scale. Semiconductors are everywhere, made by major companies, and to see them up 35% in sales means there's a lot of growth going on, because it's not like they're not needed already. So we're seeing an uptick in growth. I think this is a number that's definitely telling us that some of the major purchasers of semiconductors were up considerably as well. So some of the guys who already dominate percentages in this industry, they were up even more, except for one. So let's take a look. So up 35% in quarter two year over year is semiconductors entirely. The country of South Korea up 36% in semiconductor sales. China up 25% and Japan up 24%. Of the major four countries that bring in they do the most sales of semiconductors, they're the ones out there selling these things, billing. It's Taiwan that was down. So Taiwan down 21%. Make of that what you will. I would say do your research and due diligence, please. There's tons of information available. If you think any kind of semiconductor, anything related to this video might be applicable to what you're doing with your portfolio, I beg of you to do your due diligence and speak to a licensed professional financial advisor before making any decisions. But Taiwan down 21%. Seems strange, but everybody else was up, and up considerably, especially considering they were already at the very top of the entire global market. So Korea, China, Japan, all up well over 20%. Now, revenues for semiconductors is also up 101.4 billion in quarter two. That's up 6.1% from the same quarter last year. That's the biggest revenue growth in 3 years. Now, in the divisions, memory chips are up 10.7%, DRAM is up 14%, NOR flash memory is up 12.3%. And of the main semiconductor makers, builders, producers, whatever you want to call them, whatever jargon you'd prefer to use, you choose your own jargon here. Feel free. Semiconductor manufacturers, that's the jargon I choose. AMD and NVIDIA, yeah, the big boys. AMD up 24.7% in revenue. NVIDIA up 14.6%. So not only are we seeing the billings of semiconductor equipment going up around the world, but the revenues in semiconductor sales is up. In every category, it's up. There was my hand. That has nothing to do with semiconductors, but this might be very important for any kind of investing you might be thinking about doing. This clearly tells us that there's more and more technological manufacturing going on at the big and small scale, all the way down the pipeline, because semiconductors would not be being sold and the revenues would not be up this much if they weren't. Because while they're definitely needed, improvements or people spending frivolously on things they might not need only happen in times of prosperity. And when things aren't going well, companies that don't need to improve their infrastructure maybe would hold off a little bit more. This tells me that around the globe, infrastructure on the big scale, all the way down to your little smartphones and stuff, are probably being improved upon pretty significantly, and a lot of companies are experiencing somewhat of a cash windfall because of that. See? We knew semiconductors could be interesting if we wanted them to be. I'm Cody with Wall Street Breakdown.